النهارده معانا حلقه جديده ويا جماعه هتبقى حلقه بجد انا مستنيها بقالي كتير جدا جدا. الحلقه هتبقى بالانجلش تمام. معانا النهارده الحلقه هتبقى بالانجلش، فانا هقلب بالانجلش يا جماعه، بس هنحط ترجمه بالعربي تحت. هي مها مصريه بس الشغل كله واغلبيه الكلام بيبقى بالانجلش، فاحنا هيبقى اسهل لنا احنا الاثنين يبقى انجلش. فهنعمله بالانجلش النهارده بس. Today we have a podcast, guys, with Maha. Maha is the founder of a company called Digital and Savvy, and also a podcast that she hosts called Savvy Talks. Damn, I'm not bad in English in a podcast, dude. I should do more often English. Wow, I like it. And also she does PR for really high-profile people like Gary Vee, Deepak Chopra, and a lot more. And also she has an interesting past. She worked a lot in the Middle East, in Egypt and Dubai, and we're gonna get to know a lot more about this talking to Maha. So hey Maha, welcome.
Hey Youssef, thank you for that introduction. بص أنا ممكن أعمل podcast بالعربي هيبقى very bad, so let's just stick to English because I'll be like drawing for words. بس أنا مصرية, I'm 100% Egyptian. Alhamdulillah, really proud to be from Egypt.
I love it. And honestly, Maha, like what's really interesting that like I like on social media and everything, you're always posting about Egypt, you're always posting about the Middle East. like ليه وحاسس ان انت عندك كده حاجه دايما بترجعك لمصر, you know, like you're always coming back to Egypt, coming back on your roots.
انا بنت البلد.
Nice.
Yeah, like بص انا فخوره جدا ان انا مصريه. I'm really proud to like tell people about Egypt and my country, and I'm a poster child for promoting it. Just long story short, I'm born and raised in Minnesota.
Nice.
Both of my parents مصريين. I grew up at home. علمونا عربي by listening to Kulthum and Abdul Halim and Quran in the house. So
Wow.
I didn't grow up in Egypt, but I spent every summer in Egypt, every Christmas and New Year's in Egypt. That my parents were like inside the four walls of our house. كانت مصر. The rules, the food, the music. وده كان أيام زمان بقى where we were living in the States and we would be able to see like ART and Rotana, and like you go to see
wow.
all that kind of stuff. I'm aging myself. But my parents were really, really keen to make sure يعرفوا إن إحنا مصريين, and we eat the food and we live the rules, ونصلي ونصوم and all that kind of stuff. So
I love it.
I grew up an Egyptian in America. And then I made a move back to the Middle East. My parents were like, خلاص احنا قعدنا في أمريكا كتير, let's go back to the States.
How old were you?
I was 27 when
Nice.
I moved back to Egypt. Felt like it was
Wow.
older. You're more professional. You finished college. You worked. Like I had a little bit of a couple of years under my belt. I used to work for General Mills, which makes like Wheaties and Cheerios, and did a lot of sports marketing
Wow.
for them, and went to the Olympics and NASCAR and helped them figure out how brands should be integrating into sports.
Wow.
Moved to Egypt طازة. I didn't really work in Egypt ever before. ساعتها you either work for a multinational like a Pepsi,
Yeah.
a Coca-Cola, a Unilever, a P&G, or you work for one of the family businesses.
Exactly.
The Weirises, the Shittas, the Mansours,
Yeah.
one of those big family businesses. But I ended up interviewing with all the Sawiris brothers, Nassif
Wow.
and Nagib and Samih.
Did you have any connections or you just applied?
No. My father was a consultant and he knew Nagib's uncle. And so he's like, خلي Maha تيجي تقابلنا and all this
Nice.
kind of stuff.
Super Egyptian.
بنت عايزة تعمل إيه? One of those situations.
Yeah.
And then I ended up interviewing with Nagib, and Nagib offered me a job to be his office manager. مدير مكتبه. And I went home like crying to my father. I'm like, إيه ده عايزني أبقى مدير مكتب. أنا عندي ماجستير and I have all this experience working in America, and I don't want to be an admin, and I don't want to just answer phones and schedule. Like it's really like not challenging, and I'm not going to get paid well. It's not like a real job where I'm going to grow.
Yeah.
And I was really like, that's just not a good enough title and job for me. I was really snobby. And then my dad was like, بصي بقولك إيه, أنتي ما تعرفيش حد. You just moved here. This was 97, 98, 99. So like Nagib was not, obviously he's a billionaire and he was very successful back then, بس هو كان ساعتها عنده حاجة اسمها Roscom Technologies اللي كان بيبيع توكيلات بتاعت HP وسيسكو, all this kind of stuff. And so I was like, doesn't really excite me, but he had just applied for the license for Mobinil, and he was like, had this vision of المحمول في قد الجميع. I think that was the tagline at the time, that everyone would have a cell phone, from a driver to like an executive would own a cell phone or a mobile phone. And it was a very ambitious thing, sort of like when Bill Gates said a computer in every home, and everyone thought that was very ambitious. Why would people need computers in their homes?
For sure.
Anyways, very long story short, I took the job with Naguib because I took my father's advice. Ali, put your head down, deliver, show him that you're capable of doing more, work your way up, start from the bottom. And that's exactly what I did. And I proved to him that I was smart and had other skills, and I had other muscles that I wanted to use. And I had a great career with Naguib, and I learned a lot, and he put me in charge of a lot of things, and he trusted me, and he challenged me. And
what are the key things that you focus on? Like how can you show like a really important, I would say, like executive that you're worth it without really annoying them? You know, like
I was persistent. And I was always like trying to find ways to add value. Yani, I wouldn't give him unsolicited advice or come in and sit through, like I'd see something and I'd say, hey, what about approaching it this way? Or like, I was like very subtle about it, but it was like, I just put my head down and I'm like, I'm going to like, he asked for A and B, I'm going to do C, D, and E without him asking for it. Just trying to say, he's like, she just gave me work that I didn't know I wanted or needed, or I just kept on saying, I'm like, I can take this on. Like he would have something at a meeting with somebody and he'd say, we need to do this. I'm like, I'll do it. I'll volunteer. I'll do it. So I was just like trying to I was hungry to learn. I was hungry to prove myself. I felt that I was capable of doing more. So I had to show him. And so he trusted me once I started to like show I could deliver and I was capable of taking on a bigger piece of the pie. And so I had like 4 business cards when I worked there. I was like marketing, and I was in investor relations. I did different roles, but I was just like I was willing to just do anything to learn and get ahead. And I found like the industry he was working in was extremely exciting and challenging. Like we were introducing cell phones to the world, like in the Middle East. It was like, it was history. And
but it's really great that you're like connecting to the big vision as well. Like you're not just looking at the admin job. And this is something that I feel it's missing nowadays. A lot of people have too much ego to start from the bottom or start from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know? Because
they feel entitled. Like, they feel entitled. And actually it was advice I wouldn't have taken if my dad didn't really insist. And if I didn't just like worship my dad so much and like believe in him, because he was like, he's like, think of the office manager is the gatekeeper. Like in order for people to talk to Naguib, they need to go through you. So you're going to meet people, you're going to build relationships, you're going to understand how to talk to high profile people. These are all skills you'll need in life, how to network with people, how to talk to people at different levels. So he was just trying to coaching me through like this a good opportunity here. Like if anybody listening gets a chance to work for a chairman or a CEO as an admin or an office manager, you will learn everything about the company, the business, how it ticks, how it works, the future opportunities. You'll get to meet the key people. You might learn about a new business division or venture that you want to go to because you met somebody.
For sure.
It was, and alhamdulillah, I'm bahmid rabbina, and I got that opportunity because it changed the trajectory of my life. And I didn't know it at the time.
Like
because I learned so much. And it was like my first entry, جاية طازة في مصر ما أعرفش حد. And I end up working for like one of the most important people in the Middle East. Like, ربنا بيحبني. Like I got lucky, but I worked really, really hard. I was the first one to come into the office. I was the last one to leave. I was really like, I was there to grind because like, and I'm like, عايز أشتغل, I have to just put my head down and do the work. And that's exactly what I did. Anyways, after I worked for Naguib, I ended up going to start like my own communications company. Naguib was a partner in that. And then I left and started. Yeah. So I ended up really just like loving communication so much because I love telling stories. I love being in the front line of getting information, packaging it up, telling a story. And now I built my career on it. And I was head of communications for Google in the Middle East for several years. I handled the communications for Netflix, their launch into the Middle East, and consulted for them for about 5 years.
Wow.
And then I ended up just like building Kareem's infrastructure in terms of communications, hiring their teams, building out their comm strategies. So I got to work with some local companies as well in the Middle East right before the acquisition and integration of Uber came into play. So I got into really good tech jobs that helped you understand how things work. And it really help me understand like what I do and don't want to do. And I'm just really grateful. And I really wanted to make sure that people know that I'm Egyptian. And every time I post about something or I get involved in business, I end up spending time helping a lot of high profile people come to Egypt or come to the Middle East. عشان يعرفوا what we do, what we are capable of, how we're entrepreneurs. Like I think the Arab Spring really unleashed creativity and built the economic impact of the internet. And people like Egypt is one of the hottest markets in the world right now for startups and entrepreneurs. And it makes me so happy because I feel that the country and the people are so capable.
100%.
I just wish that we should do better marketing and do more marketing for Egypt because there's so much talent, and it makes me really excited.
100%. This is crazy.
Marketing is sales. Websites are dead, but we don't want to do this. We want actual money. You have an actual product. An entertainment website is not selling you anything. Where how they make money, they're paid for how long you stay on the website. They're selling your time and your attention. And then marketers are selling advertisements on the website. That you want to have these tools in your back pocket. They got an email that said, hey, would you like socks? So that you can be an incredible marketer, so that you can increase sales for your business or your client.
And how difficult was it for you to adapt to the culture of the Middle East and bring the knowledge? And this is something that really frustrated me sometimes, because when I talk to a lot of people in marketing in the Middle East or this, they would be like, no, this doesn't work in Egypt. Egypt works only like email marketing doesn't work for Egypt. Email marketing is just for the States. So how do you feel? How do you feel when you got adapted?
It was so hard. And because I came from the US and I'd worked several years like at these big Fortune 500 companies in the US. And I went into Egypt in the style of business. Like I wasn't well received, to be honest with you. Like I'm very American, down to business, focused, لا لازم تقعد وتشرب شاي وتسأل على أهله. Well, people are more slow and they don't like, not everybody, but like the style of business is a culture. And I didn't know it. And I was very naive on how my ways of working in the 90s or early 2000s are very different than how people work in the US, and just understanding the culture. And like, I picked it up and I figured it out, but it wasn't like I had a playbook and someone قال لي ما تيجي تعملي بقى business في مصر هيقولوا لك لا وما تعمليش كده وانتي بنت في اجتماع. There weren't any managing directors of companies in Egypt in 2000, 2001, 2003, 2005. There wasn't. Just like كان في واحدة اسمها ساحر, she was the head of Promo 7, Promo 7, the ad agency. There aren't females that are executives. كنت بقعد في اجتماعات and they were like all guys, and they're like, oh, دي لابسة وعاملة وبتاع. That was hard, but obviously it's completely changed now, and definitely it's really.
But how did Maha you didn't let this get to you? Like what was in your mindset that like لا أنا قد الشغلانة دي and I can do it, and it doesn't matter if I'm surrounded by men, and and I can do it better than anyone here? Like how did you, even though no one said that?
My father, Allah yarhamu, he was basically hard work always pays off. But he's like, استمري, كملي. Like just if you do a good job, he's like, put your head down and let your work speak for itself. He was like, if you are smart at your job, people they won't have anything on you. And so that's what I was just doing. I'm like, if I'm so good at what I do, that's the best way to silence your critics, is just to be good at your job. It doesn't matter if you're a female or a male. I'm like, if you can perform, that will speak to who you are. Oh, she's consistent. Oh, she's a deliverer. Oh, she's a results driven, or she gets things done. And that's kind of where I was like, I built that kind of inner fight with me. Like, okay, أنا مش قد الناس دي, هما هياكلوني. And I worked a lot in government. And so I was like, أنا مش فاهمة السيستم, أنا مش هفهمها. But what I do know is my work. What I do know is what I can control, which is my output. And all those other factors I couldn't control, because will they like me? Will they understand my style? Do I fit into the culture? Am I going to blend in? Are they going to find that my style is different than theirs and then discount me because I'm not the same as them? And مثلا هم, a lot of people used to say to me, أنا اسمي Maha Abuelenein, like my name is so Egyptian.
Yeah.
And then I start talking and they're like, oh, you're so American. Like your English is so good. Where did you go to school? And then it's like, and then once they hear your English is good, you automatically went up a level in their eyes because, oh, she must be educated because she's got good English.
Yeah.
But like, it was always like, the minute they would see me شكلي مصرية واسمي مصري, and then I would talk and they're like لا 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 في حاجة مش مظبوطة, انتي أمريكانية, انتي مش عارفة ايه, العربي بتاعك مكسر, all that type of stuff. So
وحسيتي what did you feel when people would tell you why are you coming back to Egypt? Like I'm sure people tell
all the time.
مصر. You know, what was your reply to these people? You know,
you know, a lot of people ask me like, why are you here? Why did you come back to Egypt? And I came back for personal reasons. أنا أمي كانت تعبانة جدا. My mom had multiple sclerosis and she was very sick and she didn't want to die in the US and قعدت في أمريكا كتير. And so she's like, عايزة أرجع بلدي وعايزة أرجع أهلي. And so I came back for personal reasons. I didn't choose to move back to Egypt. My parents were coming and I was taking care of my mother. And I didn't want to leave my dad to take care of my mom alone. And I just really, my parents gave me so much. I was like, أنا هروح, I'm going to come with you guys and I'm going to take care of you. And that's the reason I came back. But it was so rewarding for me. Like طبعا took me time to adjust. And
for sure.
I wasn't upset about leaving the US. I was just I wasn't upset about what I was going to. I loved Egypt. I loved Egypt so much. But I was just like scared or sad about what I was leaving behind, like my childhood, my upbringing, like everything would change. And I ended up spending my whole life in Egypt and several years in Dubai. And I just moved back to the States during the pandemic. And I get Aslan because I was like, I don't want to be stuck in Dubai by myself because I was living in Dubai at the time. I moved to Dubai with Google and then stayed in Dubai for 6 or 7 years, 8 years. But anyways, ended up coming back to the States during the pandemic because I was like, I don't want to get stuck in Dubai by myself and be there, you know, during a lockdown in Dubai in the summer. That's like the worst I could think I could ever happen.
Yeah.
So that's why I came back. And then I was like, Ida, I'm having fun here. I'm learning, I'm growing. I actually can do business here. I have a thriving company now. I have a good team. I'm like, Ida, like, you don't think you can do it until you do it. Like, I'm not a big open for change thing. Like, and I رحت مصر because I had to, because
but you made the best out of it. That's what I love. You made the best out of it. You crushed. You work with the top. Like it's crazy.
I got lucky. Alhamdulillah. I worked hard, but I want you to tell you, like when I moved to Egypt, I that big of a successful career, and it found me. Like Egypt has built me. Egypt is where I built my career and where I became really well known as one of the top.
It's the best place to stay outside of your comfort zone. You know, you're in you're not comfort zone.
Yeah. And it ended up being the wildest, greatest experience of my life. And I ended up moving, like I said, just back here, like 2 years ago, I moved back to the States.
Love it.
And I've been to like I was there. I'm there all the time. If anyone follows me, they know. And then رجلي في مصر على طول. And it's really important to me.
Do you like writing, psychology, or even shopping? And are you fluent in English? If so, you may want to become a copywriter. It's a highly lucrative field where you can work with North American and European clients to help them write websites, newsletters, emails, taglines, social media posts, and ads. Most North American companies know they need better sales copywriting, but they don't know where to find the right talent. That's where you come in. So if you want to join this trending career, write for a living, without having to ever clock into an office, click the link below. I'm Jonathan Kendall, by the way, an entrepreneur and copywriter who has generated over $150 million in sales for my clients using copywriting. In my copywriting masterclass, I'll teach you everything you need to know for how to become a copywriter and get clients to pay you to write. Click the link below and let's start your new career today.
Maha, I want to move now to the second part of your life, or you know, the part where you started your company. And also, I want to learn more about PR and communication and about like, what is it to tell my story, especially even for myself? Like, okay, where do I go from them? All right, I'm posting a lot, but what is it? What's the big picture of the story, and how long can it go, right?
Yeah. So one of the things people are really focused on now and doing well, and I love your content. I'm like, you're like the Arabic Gary V. You have a message. you're consistent with your message, you are bringing value to your audience. I see how you're engaging with your audience. Like building your personal brand is one of the most important things everyone needs to do, because you shouldn't outsource it to somebody else. You should be thinking about, you are a brand, your social, if you have a social media account, you're a personal brand, right? So what does that say about you? Do you like to go surfing? Do you like photography? Do you love to coach? Do you love to work out? Do you like to cook? Like, it represents who you are, and it gives people insight into your person, your personality. If you want to talk to your audience about things that you care about in terms of your business or your hobbies, you know, a lot of people have jobs that they go to because they pay the bills and that's their career, and they might use social media to explore their passions or talk about things that they care about outside of work. And, you know, I have a really good friend who's like an executive, financial executive, but he posts all the time about workouts and training and nutrition. And that's what he loves to do. And he's not monetizing it. He's not building a business from it, but it's because we're different. We're multiple people. We're not just our work personality and our home personality. So it's like, it's a good way for you to build a brand for yourself about something you care about. And one of the things I help people do, like Gary Vee or work with Deepak Chopra or any of the other high profile people, it's like, what's the narrative that you want to share with people? And how do you tell your story and connect with different audiences? So Gary was doing a lot of motivational speaking and he was known as a motivational speaker and author. And he's actually not that. He's actually so much more than that. He's an entrepreneur. He's a business owner. He's an operator. He's a cultural sociologist, like understands how culture works and consumer behavior works. And so it's like, oh, Gary, for us to like help you tell that story, like we need to do more than show you speaking and being an author. Like there's so much more to so that's kind of what I help do, is like figure out what are the best ways for you to talk to those audiences about the other parts of your business or brand.
How can we ask ourselves these questions, Ma? How can we ask ourselves these questions of like, who are we really, right? Because sometimes we could miss that. I'm sure, like, you know, Gary missed it, you know, and you guys show it to him, even though he does this every day, but we still kind of miss it. So what question can we ask ourselves?
Yeah. So on his, like, I'm not in charge of his social. He has a whole team in charge of his social. I'm more like relationships and circles and press stuff. But like for anyone listening to this podcast who wants to figure out what's the best way to determine what their personal brand should be about, or what they should be posting about on their social media, they should ask themselves two questions. One is, what do you like to do consistently that you find yourselves gravitating towards? And what is the best way you like to communicate? So do you like to post videos? Do you like to do pictures? Do you like to write? Do you like to blog? Like, and then what can you do consistently? Do that. Yeah. That's kind of what your passion's about. Like things that you automatically already posting about all the time that you don't realize, oh, wait, I seriously like to post pictures of coffee cups all the time. So like maybe my passion is coffee or artistic photography. Like you'll find yourself doing it all the time anyways, and you don't realize that that's your thing. And so you need to just lean into that.
I love that. And I love that you said, like, if you like writing or if you like, posting pictures, I feel a lot of people feel pressure. Like, let's say when TikTok came out, like, I don't want to go out and dance. Like, I don't like, it's like, you know, I don't like to be in front of the camera. Like, you know, you just said it. There's so many different ways that people can express this. So I really love that you said that. Like, you know, like blog posts are not dead yet, you know? Maha,
no.
Like,
by the way, for just on TikTok, TikTok is so, like, a lot of people thought TikTok was dancing. And if you go on there, there's coaching, there's cooking, there's mental health, there's sewing, there's fashion, there's so much. It can be what you want it to be.
100%.
Like, don't, one of the things, and I've been having this conversation with my team this last week, because Instagram's been announcing all these changes and stuff. Yeah. Don't get sucked into doing the trends. Like, what's the trending audio? What's the trending thing? Do your brand consistently the way you want it to be.
I love it.
Because if you think about any brand that's out there, a Coca-Cola, a Nike, any brand of any clothing, they don't change their brand every time a trend comes up.
Yep.
They stay consistent to who they are as a brand, and they communicate accordingly. You need to think about it your same way. Think of yourself as like, oh, every time there's a trend, do they stop their business plans and do something else and hop on that? No. What you want to do is you want to be relevant to the culture. So relevant to the conversation, relevant to what people are talking about. So for example, in Egypt, is it COP 27 is coming up, right?
Do you know, Ash? COP 27 is coming up.
Yeah, it's some big event that they're happening in Sharm el-Sheikh, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot of media attention. There's going to be a lot of people talking about it. How can you find yourself to be part of that conversation? Because people are looking for stories and angles during that event. So try to find relevance of what people are talking about. It's summer season. It's Sahel season in Egypt in August. What are some of the things you can be doing to talk about your business and brand that relates to people being on holiday, people being on Sahel? Like finding what's the relevant timing to tell the best story is the highest level of success you can get, because you'll be more relevant to that conversation.
Love it, Maha. Maha, that's 30 minutes. So I don't want to take more time from you. I know you have a busy schedule, but I really enjoyed our conversation. Anything? Huh?
Mustafa, I was gonna say, Youssef, I really love like just having conversation with you, and we should talk again. And then when I come to Egypt, inshallah, I'll definitely want to see you.
100%. I can't wait for you to come to Egypt. And yeah, inshallah يا جماعة الحلقة دي تكون عجبتكم. I hope this episode you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow Maha. She posts really cool content, guys. You get to really know who Maha is. Like, she doesn't hide anything. She just puts it. She puts, how also silly she is. She's this huge executive, but she's also super silly on her stories and cool. And she makes you smile and, love life. So make sure to follow Maha, guys. That's it. I love you guys. Thank you for following. Thank you, Maha, for being on with us.